belief is that we value our time, and going to groups and things like that, it was always important that we felt like we walked away with something. And so what I want to do is I just want to share a couple quick nuggets with you that we feel like have given us a measure of what we would like to think as our competitive edge in business. I've read a lot of books, The Secret to This and The Secret to That, and the truth is there is no secret. I mean, there's not. But I do feel like there is a formula that you can follow that if you compound different principles, you can give yourself a measure of difference that over time will give you that competitive edge. So if I had my little blackboard up here, I'd have my acronym. So I'll just start with E, and for us, that's always been education. And not just in the traditional sense of, hey, I went to TCU or I went to Baylor, but a self-directed education. Conferences, audiobooks. I drive a lot, and so that became my sort of my classroom real quick. I'd have my audiobooks in there. I'd have my CDs, anything that I could, different audio scriptures, just something that I could put in, because I saw a guy give I did it one time. He took the sponge out and he poured the Coke on the table and he sopped it up and said, if I squeeze this sponge, what do you think is going to come out? Coke, I just saw you just poured it out. And he said, so that's exactly how life is. When life puts a squeeze on you, whatever you put in is going to be what comes out. So when we think about education, because a lot of times what happens is in business, when we get to the point we have our own business, we are pretty good at what we do. That's why we started our own business, and so we get complacent. I feel like in logistics, I could probably give a half-hearted effort and still be better than a lot of people. And so because of that, you can get real melancholy about how your approach at continuing to learn your craft and get better at it. So I would just encourage you to stay sharp at that. If you stay ahead of the game, you'll always be on top. Coke spends more on marketing than any other company does for their product, but they've been number one in that category for the better part of 2 decades. So it's because of that. It's not an accident. So one of my mentors used to always tell me that the more you learn, the more you earn. And I believe that to be true, and it's shown itself in my life time and time again. One of the scriptures that I like is in Proverbs 22. It says, you see a man skillful in his job, he'll stand before kings. And so when I think about that, like in the corporate world, when I talk to people, I want the CEO, I want the VP, I want people that are important. And so the better you understand your craft, the higher the likelihood you'll be rubbing shoulders with the right people. So that's the education part. The second part is being diligent. And I think that gets confused a lot with discipline. My dad is in the military, so growing up, there was a lot of discipline in my house. Wake up to bed, do your shirts this way, put your socks here. So there was a lot of things that we had to do, but we did them because if we didn't, there was a negative outcome. And so discipline can be driven not by passion, but it can be driven by the desire, because you don't want a negative output. And so diligence is something that's kind of driven from within for a positive reinforcement. It's something that you do because you want to do it, and that's sort of the driving why that keeps you consistent in it. So I know that it says that having or showing care or conscientiousness of one's work and duties, consistent effort in accomplishing something, attentive and present in doing all things. And I think that's a big part of it, is just being attentive and being present in everywhere that you go. In every room that I go to, I always wonder, why am I here? Why has God purposed me to be here? Someone is in the room I'm supposed to meet. That I'm here, so I'm going to give it my all. I'm not going to judge, well, there's this many people or there's this type of people, just knowing that I have a purpose and I'm going to be diligent in the steps that I take. So, another proverb, and I really like it because it's something people say was if I said it was something I read in a fortune cookie or in a John C. Maxwell book, like it gets everybody's attention. But the truth of it is, a lot of these principles just come from Proverbs in the Bible, and so a lot of what we do is not about, baptizing people and throwing Bibles at people, but it's truth that comes from Scripture, and for me, that makes it easy to tie into what I want to do long term. And so it says, the plans of the diligent surely lead to abundance, but everyone who is hasty in their decisions comes to poverty. So to me, that just makes me think that whatever it is we're going to do, I've I've seen Jim be consistent at what he does with the event center. I've seen him be consistent with the golf tournaments. I've seen him be consistent with the things that he does, and it's the consistency that I feel like drives the success over a long period of time. It's not that the first time that he did this that it was a success on the tournaments or anything else, but being consistent, it shows everything gets bigger and bigger and bigger, so that diligence has a lot to do with the success that you got. Third thing that I think is a big difference maker is if you're genuine. You know, I can only be myself, and I feel like I will only be effective when I'm being myself. And when I network, especially, you get people that have their canned commercials. I'm so and so, I do this and that. They'll throw me their tagline, they'll hit me with a business card, and it's not that there's anything wrong with that, but I want to know who somebody is before I know what you do, because you may change jobs, you may open up another business, and so if everything that I know about you is what you do and not who you are, it's really hard for me to stay connected with you. Right. And the truth is, if I know you and you're genuine, there's a higher likelihood that I'm going to have a desire to do business with you. Because a lot of people think, well, I network and I meet a lot of people, so they're going to want to do business with me. It's a numbers game. Well, the truth is, it's really top of mind. You know, Jack from the Chamber talks about it all the time. Top of mind thinking, top of mind thinking. And what that means is that if I meet 35 insurance salesmen, you know, throughout my week as I network, why is one going to stand out more than the other? Is it going to be because of their benefits, because of their percentages or savings, or is it going to be the guy that told me about the football game that he took his son to, or the Nutcracker show that he took his daughters to, or the road trip he took? I mean, there's the little things, just being yourself and being genuine. So it says, truly what something is said to be or authentic. And I think that if you have a chance to meet some people, and I think the gym has that if you meet him here, if you meet him on stage, if he's in tux, if he's in shorts, he's still the same person. And so I think that you don't have to adapt to where you go to be successful. You just have to be consistent in who you are, and people will understand that. So I think that being genuine is another one. And the last thing that I would say is just having endurance. That we've been doing the logistics, Denise and I, for about 11 years. And it was hard. The first couple of years were real hard. And then we hit kind of a plateau, and then we tanked again. And then we kind of got it back up, and then we tanked again. And it wasn't until about year 6 and a half, that things really leveled out. And then by year 8, we had quadrupled our best year ever. And then the year after that, we doubled that number. And so, but the point is, if you don't see it all the way through, a lot of people put effort into something short term, and they don't have the success that they want. And they say, well, anyone that does extremely well at what they do has done it because they've done it over a long period of time. There was a story that I heard about Jerry Rice and the records that he holds. He's a wide receiver that played football, and they said that Jerry Rice is number one in every category by almost 50%. Then like touchdowns, yards after reception, everything, almost twice as good as the guy below him, which is like unheard of. But it wasn't because he had one big blowout year. It's because every year, consistently, he was about 2% better than everybody else. And he kept that over a 15-year career. And so when you take that 2% over 15 years, at the end of his career, his numbers were crazy. And so I just want to encourage you that whatever it is you're doing, to know that it's not going to be easy, that there's always going to be a measure of adversity that you're going to have to go through. And even the Bible talks about that there is things that come from, that you get out of suffering that you can only get out of. It says that suffering creates perseverance. And perseverance creates character. And character creates hope. And so these are all attributes that as business owners and leaders you want to have. But the truth is, the way that it really gets pulled out is through those tough times. And so when you go into business knowing that you're going to have your highs, you're going to have your lows, but if you stay educated in your specific field, if you stay genuine to who you are, if you're diligent about what you do, when you're in it for the long haul, that it's been my experience that those are the people that I've seen have the most success, and this has given us the measure of success that we've had so far. So that's just my quick thoughts on what to take away for whatever it is you're doing. some point, been a little bit of help to you guys.